Namaskar friends, this is NJ, your host on this channel. In this video, we will have our discussion on the placement of Jupiter in all the houses of the D9 chart. So friends, as you know that we have just recently had our discussion on the placement of Moon and Venus. But how can we say that we have now got a grip on the different pillars of the D9 chart unless and until we haven't had our discussion on the Jupiter. So friends, definitely we will try to understand Jupiter's contribution not only from the Navamsha perspective, but also in general, what does Jupiter represent and its importance in our life. Because friends, right at the time when I'm uploading this video, so Jupiter just turned retrograde few hours back only, and also like this news was trending on Google a couple of hours back that there is a few asteroids which are going to pass very close from the Earth. And even if you will check in our solar system, so Jupiter is not only the biggest planet, but also its gravitational pull is also so strong that not only Jupiter protects our dharma in our life, but also its gravitational pull also protects our planet as well, because a lot many times it pulls and kind of save Earth from all these asteroid impact as well because of its strong gravitational pull. So okay friends, now starting our discussion. So as you know that Jupiter becomes very important friends, because Jupiter, even in our main astrology chart, see, Jupiter is the Karaka of so many houses. It is the significator of the second house of your wealth, of your finances, your values, your virtues, fifth house of your intellect, your spiritual inclinations, ninth house of dharma, 10th house of your karma, 11th house of your gains. So because of it, Jupiter is the only planet which you cannot afford to have in a bad dignity in your chart. Friends, when we talk about even the aspect of the planet Jupiter, so Jupiter only has got blessings and saving grace to offer. So no matter, even if Jupiter is going to be weakly placed in your chart, even after that its aspect is only going to be carrying benefic qualities only. That is the only reason, being an astrologer, whenever I am assessing any individual's chart and if I will find any affliction in any specific house, the only thing which I will first look forward to is that afflicted house is getting aspected by Jupiter with its additional aspect or not. And friends, also when we talk about the religious inclinations and the prospects of mentorship, right set of guidance in your life, definitely from the religious point of view, like the saving grace and the wisdom of the guru and the spiritual teachers is something which we see from Jupiter. But if you will find Jupiter to be in a strong dignity in your chart, so trust me, you will act as a medium that you can actually absorb all the positivity, all the optimism, all sort of motivation in your life. I always say this thing friends, that even planets reflect the energy as per their signification in our life. So let's say for example, whatsoever good deeds you do in the form of your habits towards visiting the places of religious significance, reading holy scriptures, helping people in need, any sort of good deeds and charities which you do. So the result of all of the religious, holy, good deeds done by you get fructified in our life from the house where Jupiter is going to be placed in your chart. So trust me, and here just because there is one exclusive chart which only tells about your religious and spiritual inclinations. So the placement of Jupiter in the D9 chart becomes very important. This is going to be a placement where all the good deeds done by you, all the religious inclinations, all the religious austerities shown by you will show its result specific to the matters of that house where Jupiter is going to be placed in your D9 chart. So friends, these are some of the significations which you can attach with Jupiter. Now when we talk about from the D9 charts perspective, so definitely friends, Jupiter can also be seen as one of the Karaka of the D9 chart along with the planet Venus. But just because Venus tells more from the perspective of the relationship and the prospects of love, romance and nourishment. But when we talk about that how much you're going to be gaining the fortune and luck with any sort of committed association, how much you will prosper in the path of devotion, religious austerities, and how much you will benefit because of the guidance which you are going to receive from people of religious and spiritual significance. Like friends, when we even talk about anything to do with the religious guidance, so like, truth to be told, we do have holy people out there in the world, like divine, holy incarnated, but even out of the crowd of all these holy and saintly people, there are those charlatan and con men as well. So it all depends on the dignity of Jupiter in your chart, that whether you are going to get misguided in the guise of religion, or whether religion is going to be acting as a source of your strength, source of getting the right set of guidance in all the testing times of the life. All of that we see with the dignity of the Jupiter in your D9 chart. Now friends, there is a very beautiful, enlightening concept which Sanjay Rath sir has explained in many of his lectures, that just because here we are talking about the ninth division of your Rashi chart, so he has in some of his lectures has also correlated D9 chart in tandem, in sync with the main Rashi chart as well. So he has explained that you are going to be studying the first house of your D9 chart in respect with the ninth house of your main Rashi chart. So somehow whatsoever significations you are going to find in the ninth house of your main ascendant chart, you can fairly see or correlate it with the first house of your D9 chart. And same way, now you have to follow the cycle. So whatsoever you see in your main Rashi chart from the 10th house, so just because we are correlating the ninth house of your main Rashi chart and seeing it as the first house of the D9 chart, so the 10th house in the main Rashi chart will act as the second house in the D9 chart. So whatsoever you want to see that while following the religious path, how much you will gain in your life in the form of your professional growth as well. So that is something which in the main Rashi chart we see from the 10th house, but in the D9 chart you will see from the second house. Same way friends, the gains which we see from the Rashi chart from the 11th house, that in the D9 chart you are going to see from the third house. So that is one of the technique which Sanjay Rath sir has explained, and trust me, when I actually applied it in my own chart, in the chart of the people I closely know, I actually found the resonance of this principle as well. And one more thing friends, which I want to make it very clear over here, is that the moment you're going to open the D9 chart, trust me friends, D9 chart just tells about the caricature of your soul deep within yourself, your reverberating personality. Now some people call it a Karan Sharir, Sthul Sharir, like your subtle body, astral body, causal body, but I would say that this just tells about the deeper inner state of your personality. And one more thing friends, like the way I always say this thing, that whether we talk about the D9 chart or the D10 chart or the D7 chart, the first house and the strength of the first house lord just tells about the dignity, power which you will find pertaining to the matters of that divisional chart. So just because if we are opening D9 chart from the perspective of looking at your matrimonial life, looking at the prospects of your fortune, your luck, your religious inclinations, so if you will find first house lord in your D9 chart to be in a strengthened state, that is definitely going to be a very good sign that all these areas which I just mentioned definitely help you in this lifetime. But if you will find that your first house lord in itself is debilitated, or it is afflicted, it is severely afflicted because of the malefic influence, so then you can fairly see that all these areas of the life, of fortune, of religious faith or religious guidance or the matrimonial life, all these are the areas where you have to undergo little bit sort of struggle as well. So okay friends, now let's just start placing Jupiter in all the houses of the D9 chart, and we will try to understand the results which we can anticipate. Now one more thing friends, over here I do not know what kind of placements you have in your natal chart. This is just going to be an insight or a probable way of decoding Jupiter's placement in different houses of your D9 chart. So now friends, if you will find Jupiter to be placed in the first house of your D9 chart, that can be seen as a very good sign. Trust me friends, this in itself is an indication that you are meant to be following the path of the religious austerities, or you might have done some very good deeds in the past lifetime as well. And trust me friends, like with this placement, I can say this thing with a lot of confidence that whatsoever good deeds you are going to do, the more you are going to follow the righteous path. In your case, just because Jupiter is placed right over there in the first house, so all aspect of your fortune, of your matrimonial life, of the wisdom, of the knowledge is going to get elevated, is going to get uplifted. And definitely friends, it's like the divine grace which is going to be protecting all areas of your life. So the mere placement of the Jupiter in the first house of the D9 chart can be seen as a very good sign. Now you can relate it with the matrimonial point of view as well, that you will definitely prosper, gain, or the prospects of luck is definitely going to be supporting you. And over and above that friends, like being well guided in the path of dharma, in the path of religion and soul elevation, from overall perspective, this placement of Jupiter in the first house of the D9 chart can be seen as a very good sign. Now friends, moving ahead, now let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the second house of your D9 chart. So now definitely friends, like the way the principle which I just gave it to you, that if you are going to following the principles of correlating D9 chart with the main Rashi chart, so this house in a way tells about the prospects of your karma, because it corresponds or reverberates equally with the 10th house of your main Rashi chart. And also friends, because if first house of the D9 chart is the overall theme of your dharma, so the second house tells about the sustenance of that dharma. So Jupiter's placement in the second house can be seen as a very good sign for financial abundance, financial prosperity, and showcasing very virtuous conduct in the society. And trust me friends, with this placement, like the way I already mentioned this thing at the beginning of this video, that Jupiter's placement in the D9 chart just tells about that whatsoever right set of deeds you will do, the more you are going to be singing the glory of the gods, you will help people, you will do a lot of charities, you will recite the mantra and the name of the god, so the better it is going to help you in the matters of your finances, in the matters of your financial prosperity. Now friends, just because second house plays a very important role, because if we are looking at the D9 chart from the perspective of your matrimonial life, so second house is the 8th house from the 7th house. So just because the mere placement of Jupiter in the second house is going to be protecting the signification of your matrimonial life. Now friends, there is this concept which I have heard many traditional astrologers using, which is about the like they say that in whichever house Jupiter sits, it just cancels or destroys the signification of that house. Now I do not find any significance of this statement. I did not even find this exact statement in many classical texts as well. So the only one thing which I can say over here in support with this statement, sthan hani karo siddhant, which we say, the way they say it in Hindi, is that unless and until you're not following the path of dharma and the righteous code in whichever house Jupiter is going to be placed in. So let's say for example, if your Jupiter is placed in the 10th house, whether in the D9 chart or whether in the main Rashi chart, and you are getting engaged in all sort of unethical activities, unlawful activities at your workplace, then definitely this placement of Jupiter is going to destroy the signification of your 10th house. Same goes with the 3rd house, which could be telling more about your initiatives, your association within the society. So in whichever house Jupiter is going to be placed in, if you are not following the dharma, righteous code pertaining to the matters of that house, Jupiter can destroy the signification of that house or the gain aspect of that house. Now friends, let's say for example, if you will find the placement of Jupiter in the 3rd house of your D9 chart. So now friends, like just because over here, this is actually the house of your communication, open channel of communication with your partner. And also friends, like any sort of vision, any sort of motivation, any sort of growth, all of that we generally see from the 3rd house. This is also the house of the courage and the valor. So Jupiter's placement in the 3rd house can be seen as a very good sign that dharma and taking refuge in the dharma will definitely act as a source of strength for you. Whenever in the life you will find yourself lost, or you will be at the life's crossroad, so religious refuge or the guidance from the guru, this becomes very important, friends, because generally in lot many cases people just merely look at this like placement of Jupiter, that if Jupiter is going to be placed in the 5th house or 9th house, you will get the right set of gurus. And definitely the presence of guru in our life matters more important than any other aspect or area of life. But important is that, is the path shown by the guru which you have in your life, how much exactly it is benefiting you. So this is the kind of placement where the path shown by your guru will definitely benefit you in making the right set of choices in the life. And also, friends, regarding your matrimonial life as well, good channel of open channel of communication, prosperity, growth can be foreseen with this kind of placement. Like your partner could be very creative as well, might have interest in communication or writing. So all of those things can be foreseen with this placement. Now, friends, moving ahead. Now, let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 4th house of your D9 chart. So now, friends, this is a very good placement, specifically from the contentment, happiness perspective, like having a very good domestic life. Like the way, friends, many times being an astrologer, this question get asked to me a lot many times when people are just sick and tired of looking for a prospective match, and just because they are in that fast-paced life, or someone who is a lawyer, who is a cop, and on daily basis you just see all these kind of lies, treachery, and all these things in the society. So many times we start doubting ourselves that whether I will be able to find a good match for me or not. So in these kind of scenarios, trust me, just the mere placement of Jupiter in the 4th house of the D9 chart is a good indication that your domestic life is going to be filled with the righteousness, prosperity, growth, and overall, like within your heart you are always like seeking refuge in the name of the God. So friends, it is a very good sign for someone who's going to be very a strong believer. Like this could be a person that in whichsoever religion the person is going to be born in, or whomsoever the native has strong faith as a like whomsoever he has accepted and embraced as his guru. So the person is going to be very strong, like demonstrating very strong resolute and faith in his guru, in the teachings of his guru, and overall domestic happiness and prosperity can be foreseen with this placement of Jupiter over here in your 4th house. Now also, friends, because as we are correlating the main ascendant chart with the D9 chart as well. So now, friends, if you will come to this 4th house, this house in a way just represents the signification of your 12th house from the main Rashi chart. So trust me, friends, this is also a very good sign for the gaining that sort of transcendental knowledge which can accelerate your spiritual growth, can accelerate your growth and journey towards the liberation, moksha. So this is a very good placement regarding that perspective. Now, friends, let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 5th house of your D9 chart. So now, friends, this is beyond doubt a very good placement, because this is a placement which tells about some sort of good deeds which you might have done in the past lifetime. And trust me, if you have some sort of distinctive aspect in your personality, so this could be a blessing from the gods as well. Like the way I always say this thing, like in my D9 chart, I have Jupiter, I have Saturn, I have Mercury in the 5th house of the D9 chart. And trust me, the way astrology came in my life and the way I have been following it and pursuing it, so I somehow feel that I must have done something good in the past lifetime, that the gods have been kind enough to bless me with this knowledge. Because otherwise, the way my life started, the way my life was progressing, and the way I have had my goals in mind, so astrology, spirituality was never a part of it. So rather than just gaining the knowledge for myself, God has even made me capable enough to sharing this knowledge from this platform with other people as well. So this placement can actually demonstrate some very good results. Like this could be manifesting some very good results, good specific talents which you might have acquired from the past life. And also, friends, even from the perspective of getting a very good progeny, progeny, very obedient, very exceptional, talented progeny. So even from all of that perspective, this is a very good sign. And lastly friends, like with this placement, you can actually have a strong grip and mastery over mantras, over religious holy text. And friends, this is also a placement which is definitely going to be making the mindset of the native very righteous, like because Jupiter's placement in the 5th house, which in the D9 chart is the house of your intellect. So this is the placement which is telling about that if overall D9 chart is the chart of your dharma, so the mind of your dharma, this is what the 5th house is. So it is definitely going to be making you very optimistic, very hopeful, very charitable, very helpful, a seeker of the knowledge with this placement. So it is overall a very good placement, because from over here as well, Jupiter is in a way influencing the 9th house and the 1st house as well. So I would say that this is one of the very good placement for Jupiter to be placed in. Like with this placement, you can not only become a very spiritually driven person, religiously inclined person, but also you can also share this knowledge through different innovative, creative mediums with the world as well. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 6th house of your D9 chart. So now friends, this is a little bit vulnerable placement, because if you will see, 6th house is 12th house from the 7th house of your D9 chart. So over here with this placement, Jupiter has to be dignified in the form of in which zodiac sign Jupiter is going to be placed in. Because friends, Jupiter is the ultimate significator of expansion. Trust me, if Jupiter is going to be afflicted over here, it can actually expand all of your problems pertaining to the matrimonial life. Trust me friends, if I were to say and if I were to pick like those elements which can actually tells about a high spiritual prospects, like something which is very exceptional, very elevating. Here I'm not talking about the material or mundane world. So it's your Atma Karaka's placement in the D9 chart and individually Jupiter's placement. Like other placement will also going to be equally important, which can actually help you in the material world. But individually these are the two entities which can actually demonstrate a divine protection, divine grace, and doing something exceptionally great in the path of devotion, religious austerities and spirituality, like attaining that sort of transcendental awareness. So now friends, to begin with, now if I were to describe the material aspect of this placement, so I have already mentioned regarding the matrimonial life, this is not a very good sign. So friends, regarding the matrimonial aspect, we have to take this placement and we have to study it with a pinch of salt, like which all houses Jupiter is ruling in your D9 chart and in which dignity it is placed in the 6th house of your D9 chart. Now let's say for example, if Jupiter is your D9 chart's 1st house lord, or it is your 9th house lord in the D9 chart, or let's say for example even from the main ascendant chart it is your 7th house lord, 9th house lord, and if it is placed in the 6th house, not very well placed over there, then it can create a lot of difficulties in the matrimonial life. And also friends, like even when we talk about regarding the spiritual aspect or the prospects of fortune, so this is going to be a placement which will ask for lot of charities, lot of donations, unconditionally helping people. Then only you can get benefited with this sensitive placement of Jupiter in your 6th house of D9 chart. This can be understood in this way, that whenever you are struck in any sort of crossroad of the life, any sort of difficult situation of the life, dharma is already blocked. The prospect of your fortune is already blocked. It is just fighting hard to deal with the challenges. It is not helping you to prosper, progress or elevate in your journey of the life. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 7th house of the D9 chart. So nothing better can be said for this placement. It is a very blessed placement. Now friends, I always say this thing, that see, when we study the main ascendant chart, ascendant charts study scrutinization just tells about the way life has been designed for us. It is going to be a actual movement, actual accomplishment, attainment. That is something which we see from the main ascendant chart or the 7th house of the main ascendant chart. But when we see the 7th house of the D9 chart, it moreover gives an edge over the personality traits, qualities, our expectations from our partner. So that is how the 7th house in the D9 chart reverberate. And trust me friends, the mere placement of Jupiter in the 7th house of the D9 chart is a very good sign. Like if you belong to a culture, to a community, that you have strong faith in the institution of the marriage, so definitely this is going to be a placement where your matrimonial bond is going to get protected. Your partner might bring the fortune or luck in your life. So overall, from the gains perspective, from the remaining lucky in the matrimonial path, or finding a very righteous, very dignified partner. So regarding all front, this placement of Jupiter in the D9 chart 7th house can be seen as a very blessed placement. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 8th house of your D9 chart. So now friends, 8th house plays a very pivotal role because this is the house which tells about the longevity of the marriage. So if you will find Jupiter to be placed over here, so this can be seen as a very good sign that Jupiter is definitely going to be protecting the duration or the longevity of the relationship. Second thing is that friends, for even because Jupiter, which in itself represents the financial abundance and prosperity as well, so you might also gain from the relationship in the form of the gifts and inheritances and all of that, which you can also get from the family or from the marriage. So regarding that front as well, this is a very good sign. Also friends, like when we talk about this placement, see when we differentiate 9th house or with the 8th house to be precise, see 9th house has more to do with the faith and 8th house has more to do with the spirituality, awareness and some sort of occult siddhiya. So this is a kind of a placement where individually, if Saturn is also dignified in your chart and the overall chart is showcasing religious and spiritual inclinations, so this is a very good sign that because of the grace of your guru, you can actually gain siddhi and mastery over mantras, over some occult powers as well. So overall friends, we have to see in which dignity Jupiter is going to be placed over here and the way overall chart is responding to this placement of Jupiter in your 8th house. It can also give benefits from the foreign land as well and overseas interaction and experiences as well. Like in lot many cases, this is also very good and indicative placement that you might also find a guru in some unusual circumstances or in a foreign land. So this can also be a very good sign for that as well. Now friends, moving ahead, now if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 9th house of your D9 chart. So trust me friends, nothing can compare with this placement of Jupiter in your D9 chart. Specifically friends, because here I'm not only talking about regarding your matrimonial aspirations or your matrimonial life, here I'm talking about the overall aspect of your life. Like your soul has got this human body to understand the cycle of life and death, to elevate on the path of your growth, like make use of your physical body to do some good karma in order to accelerate your growth. So I would say that this placement is definitely going to be blessing you with all sort of awareness. Now trust me friends, here I will not even include that, and it hardly matters that in which zodiac sign Jupiter is going to be placed over here. It is such a powerful placement of Jupiter to being placed in the 9th house of your D9 chart that trust me friends, like the grace of the your guru or the support of your mentors and counselors will always put you in the right path. Like I would say that in your case with this placement, getting the grace of a guru or accepting a guru and strictly following a guru becomes very important for you, because this is going to be a key for your success. And the more religious and spiritual and disciplined you are going to be on this path, the better it is going to be helping you. So this is a kind of a placement which is going to be protecting and helping all areas of your life, whether you talk about personal, professional, material, spiritual, social. So from all aspects, this is a very blessed placement of Jupiter to be placed in your D9 chart. I would say that you must have done some very good karma in the past lifetime. Now moving ahead friends, now let's say for example if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 10th house of your D9 chart. So definitely friends, this is a very good placement, because as you know this thing that this is a kind of placement which will actually make you very consciously aware of your duties, of your actions in the society. Second thing is that friends, now just because here we have been correlating the D9 chart with the main ascendant Rashi chart as well. So somehow the aspect of your 6th house from the main Rashi chart is something which is getting overlapped with the 10th house of your D9 chart. So definitely friends, this is a kind of a placement which will actually ask a lot from you. Now because friends, Jupiter is a planet which is not at all judgmental. See, even if you will look at the planetary friendship chart, there are those planets where one planet consider another planet as an enemy and vice versa. Like for example, Mars sees Mercury as its enemy, Mercury sees Moon as its enemy, but no planet sees Jupiter as its enemy. So the grace of the guru of a Jupiter is not at all judgmental. So I would say that the more you will be following the path of religious inclination, spirituality, and if you can become a spokesperson or in any way you can promote the goodness in the society, in the community, the better the prospect of luck is going to be helping you. And this is also very good sign for flaring good and doing good in the professional aspect as well. So a very good placement from material success perspective. Like definitely if with this kind of placement, trust me friends, there are certain eligibilities which also have to be fulfilled. Like no matter in which dignity Jupiter is placed in your D9 chart, like apart from the trine placement, which is one of the very best placement, but for the other placement as well, it becomes very important that D9 chart and the Jupiter has to get activated, which can only get activated in certain conditions and scenarios. Like first of all, like some people say that for D9 chart individually to get activated you have to be married. So I do not have 100% like confidence on that statement, but yes, definitely after post marriage D9 chart definitely gets active. Second thing is that religious inclinations, that also becomes equally important. No matter in which dignity Jupiter is placed in your chart, but if you do not have that faith in the higher powers or universal intelligence, that D9 chart is not gonna come for your rescue. And third thing is that, do you have a guru in your life whom and whose instruction, whose word you take more strongly than your life? So all these eligibilities need to be fulfilled in order to experience the best of the D9 chart alignments or the Jupiter's alignment in your D9 chart. So definitely friends, Jupiter's placement in the 10th house is a very good sign that not only it is going to be helping you on your matrimonial path, like your partner or the marriage or matrimonial aspect will actually contribute towards the purpose for which your soul has taken birth. And for the material success perspective as well, being very consciously aware of your actions, this is a very good placement. Moving ahead friends, now let's say for example, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 11th house of your D9 chart. So now friends, as you know this thing that 11th house Jupiter is one of the significator of the 11th house, like 11th house tells about all sort of gains, financial opportunities. Jupiter also represents that as well. So this is a very good placement. Like if I were to say that and again friends, all the eligibilities which I just mentioned, they have to get fulfilled. So with this placement, if you are a very religiously driven person, you are always very disciplined and regular with your prayers, with your meditative practices, and you are a very avid follower of the instructions of your guru. So I would say that with this kind of attitude and mindset, this placement can pave path for lot many gains, lot many opportunities which can take place on so many plane. Like whatsoever your wish has been of a ideal or a very perfect matrimonial life, Jupiter can grant you that as well. And if you're a kind of person like just the gaining of wisdom or gaining of a mantra, Siddhya becomes more important for you. So this placement of Jupiter in your 11th house is also very positively indicative of that as well. So overall friends, matrimonial path, whether you talk about or the spiritual austerities you talk about, both of these aspects is definitely going to help you to become bigger, greater than your existing self, only if you will be following the principles of Jupiter, which is about wisdom, which is about religious faith and unconditionally helping people and demonstrating righteousness and virtues in your conduct, in your behavior, in your personality. And lastly friends, if you will find Jupiter's placement in the 12th house of your D9 chart, so definitely friends, this is a kind of a sensitive placement, because as you can see over here that like if you will relate this house with the main Rashi chart, so this is a house which is also telling about the 8th house connected qualities as well. So definitely friends, this is a very good placement for the religious and spiritual austerities. For any sort of gaining that transcendental awareness, this can be seen as a very good sign. Now friends, when we talk about from the matrimonial life perspective, so over there friends, you might have to struggle and you might have to work hard. And like the way friends, we say this thing that all the blessings we experience in this lifetime through the placement of Jupiter in our chart. So just because Jupiter is placed in the 12th house of your D9 chart, so the faith will definitely prove to be very beneficial for you in order to battle any of your inner demons, any sort of psychological backlog, karmic backlog, any of the state situation of the losses. If you have been experiencing that in the lifetime, any sort of major losses, so I would say seeking refuge in the religion, religious austerity and the faith in the higher powers will be the only weapon or only tool which you are going to have in order to fight with all these vices or the situation of the losses within your personal life. And also friends, like when we talk about the matrimonial aspect, so if other overall alignments are also indicative of that, then this could also indicate, marrying in foreign land or finding your guru in a foreign land in a very unusual circumstances. So regarding that, we have to take into consideration in which zodiac sign and in which influence and which all houses Jupiter is ruling in your main ascendant chart or also in the D9 chart as well. So this is something friends which I wanted to say as a part of my inputs on this placement of Jupiter in all the houses of your D9 chart. For further more updates and notifications on the divine science of Vedic astrology, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page. Dhanyawad.